Dennis, welcome to Crosswalk Talk. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Michael. Great to be here.
We are talking to Dennis Quaid, actor in dozens of movies such as The Right Stuff, The Rookie, I Can Only Imagine, The Parent Trap, and a new album, Fallen, a gospel record for sinners. Man, I really enjoyed listening to this, Dennis. Of course, you're welcome. You got a new show that is now on Gaither Plus TV as part of the Gaither Gospel Hour. As we record this, you have a special also on UPtv. It's phenomenal. I really enjoyed watching it. This was recorded live at the Gaither Studios in Indiana. Dennis, it's my understanding that before you even wanted to be an actor, you wanted to be a singer. So tell me your heart behind this gospel record. Why did you want to make a gospel record? What led you to this?
Well, for me, it was music as a kid. You know, you could to act, you need other people. And, music, as as a kid, you could do in your bedroom, and I got a guitar when I was 12 and started writing songs pretty much immediately because I knew I was never going to be able to shred a guitar. So it was kind of my defense, and so I had this opportunity coming up. I've had bands all through my life as well, and had this opportunity to do this record for Gaither, and it was the right time and the right place, and they're fantastic, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, and of course it has, I think, 7 hymns, 5 original songs.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the title track, Fallen. Is that sort of an autobiography of your life?
Yeah, it is kind of like there was this there's this road in Texas called the Devil's Backbone, and it was on the way to Bandera, Texas, where we kind of went to a dude ranch when I was a kid, and took that idea, kind of put it together with like Thunder Road, and Tennessee Ernie Ford has kind of a feel like that, and wrote it, but it's really kind of autobiographical. I think autobiographical for a lot of people, actually.
Amen to that. I go ahead.
Yeah, and that's I wrote it just a couple of years ago, about a year before I was doing the record, and thought it was a good place to start because the record is called Fallen, it's the title track, and it's a gospel record for sinners. I wanted something just sort of outside the regular kind of worship service type of record. I wanted both, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love the name of the album, A Gospel Record for Sinners. Was that your idea, or did somebody kind of pitch that to you?
Yeah, I joked during my shows that I wanted the largest audience possible. That's the reason I called it that. But that's really what we all are, and I wanted to kind of relate to people who didn't necessarily go to church or have a personal relationship with God, and just to relate to people.
What role did your faith play in helping you battle your addiction in the past?
Well, I was always a seeker. I became disillusioned, I think, with churchianity, and started dabbled in Eastern religion. I read all the texts. I read the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammapada, all that. And after I got clean in 1990 of cocaine, I read the Bible again. I read it as a kid, and I read it again. And this time I was really struck by the red words of Jesus. And that's really what started, I think, would have been looking for all along. And which, my mother had told me and other people, but had never really understood, which is having a personal relationship with Jesus.
Mhm.
And of course, that has grown over the years, but I never really understood it until then.
Would you say that your faith has grown stronger as you've aged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Why
And
do you?
well, you go out and you live life, and what life does to you, and the more you hunger for, spiritual knowledge of yourself, and you know, I I lean on God, actually. I talk to him every day, and whether it's like, in prayer, but also just talk to him
Yeah.
in my mind. It's about letting everything out, that
Mhm.
things seem really huge, yeah, in your life, whether good or bad. And talk to God about problems, and talk to I in gratitude, for the blessings that I have.
Yeah.
And but it's 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 uh it's having somebody to talk to. it
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
That's really
Amen.
what it's all about.
Yeah. It almost seems like I know C.S. Lewis said it, and I think he was quoting somebody else. I don't know the origin of it, but we have this God-shaped hole, and it seems like early in life you were trying to fill it with drugs and alcohol, and later in life you kind of found the true source,
Yeah.
the true what can only fill that hole. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. And everybody has that,
Yeah.
whether they try to fill that with relationships, or with drugs, or with money, or with um whatever
Mm.
it is, our heart's desire. That it's about where to put your attention,
Yeah.
and to get what you really need. And what we're really looking for is to fill that, as you said, God-sized hole. It's a great way to put it.
Amen. It strikes me that your faith journey may have paralleled, or it seems to be paralleling at least your role in a lot of these movies that I've been watching. I can only imagine The Hill, Blue Miracle. So which came first, these movies or your faith? The spiritual growth, or kind of
Well,
paralleling one another?
I think my life and my life was already there, and it's just every time I play a role, no matter what it is, I do take from myself. It's myself. It's my interpretation based on that, and so I'm going to overlay my own life experience on who I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I could only imagine I didn't have that exact life. I was like who that guy was. I didn't
Right.
have a relationship with my son the way what he did, what he had. But I have been down there at the bottom, uh, and needed help, and didn't even know I needed help. And that redemption, that's it's a universal thing.
Amen. Amen to that. What led you though? I mean, have you developed relationships with people in this, like the Irwins and people
Oh, the
like that?
Irwins that
Yeah,
yeah, Andy,
yeah,
yeah, Andy Irwin says I'm his good luck charming with me every movie he does, and I'm just fine with that,
yeah,
and yeah, they're
yeah,
in the process of writing Fearless right now, from the book Afghanistan
yeah,
story of a Navy SEAL,
yeah,
lost his life over there, and
yeah,
his story of faith.
yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah, I'm just we've enjoyed those movies. you have a couple of movies coming up. I know about Reagan,
Mhm.
and there's another one. The name escapes me. It's a golf themed movie.
Yeah, it's an
Come,
aspirational, the long game. It comes out in a couple of weeks, and it's the
yeah,
first film by a company that we've started here um, to put out. It's a great story. It's, like I said, it's an aspirational story.
hmm
I guess our company is. I love underdog stories and redemption stories, and
amen.
this is that. This is a story of these five Chicano kids. It's a true story, of course. Down on the border in the 1950s during segregation, and they were caddies at a country club there, but they couldn't play there. They started their own golf team in high school, and they won the Texas State Championship in their very first year at the country club where they couldn't play. And it's it's a beautiful story. It kind of reminds me of some of the movies that I've done, like Breaking Away and The Rookie.
Yeah,
Because there's redemption, there's this underdog story, and
yeah.
I really love it. We had it at the South by Southwest um, last year, not this year, and it won the audience award. It really went
And,
over really great. Yeah.
and that's called The Long Game. The other one, of
Mhm.
course, is Reagan, which comes out in August. Of course,
Mhm.
you portray Ronald Reagan, and I'm just
Yes.
curious. I'm just curious. I haven't seen it, but people who've seen it say you really hit a home run in terms of your portrayal of the Gipper. How long did you take to kind of get that role and to get all his mannerisms?
Well, we filmed that back during COVID. It was quite
Yeah,
a while ago, and it was a very daunting role for me that I took time to even said yes because he was my favorite president, and I didn't want to do an impersonation of him. So I had about a year to prepare for that, and in my mind, I already knew Reagan really well. I'm a history buff as well, and I voted for him. But I didn't want it just to be a love letter either. I just want to try to get to who he was, and a very interesting journey. Playing that role, and
mm,
he was, in a way, the great communicator was kind of unknowable to even to people who knew him.
yeah.
Who were in his world. I think Nancy was the only person who really knew him down at the bottom, but there was a very private side to him.
Mm. What do you want people to know about that? What can they look forward to it? I mean, people know about
Well,
Reagan.
it's a lot of people who didn't grow up in that era. It's about America. It's a yeah, um, it's, he was Reagan won the Cold War. Really, he was a cold warrior who won the Cold War without firing a shot, and he was so much about what is good about America. And he was president at a time coming out of a time very similar to what we're going through today, actually. And I think we need to be reminded sometimes. He was a Democrat too before he was a Republican for several decades. And there was so I think it's a good time for it to come out.
Yeah, yeah. That movie is Reagan. It comes out in August, and The Long Game, I think that's the name of the movie, comes out in a few weeks here. And of course, Dennis, you have a gospel record for sinners. We've been speaking to Dennis Quaid, who has a new album, Fallen, a gospel record for sinners, and a new show on Gaither Plus TV, part of the Gaither Gospel Hour. Hey,
Yeah.
Dennis, good chatting. Good chatting with you.
You too, Michael.